money. So that's why Morara doesn't care whether he's with the people, the people has left him or not. That one is not his business. His business is in politics to make money. People like Kasipul might be, I can just call them some people who are in puberty stage of politics. They're trying to find their ways because that was a wave, the Gen Z. So anybody could have claimed to be a leader. But maybe someone like Kasipul might have never prepared before earlier that one day he can lead a certain course. So it might be just by the way. That's why you can find him sometimes with Raila, sometimes writing letter to Ruto, sometimes with people like Morara, sometimes exchanging fireworks. So he's still looking for pairing as a young person, and we cannot outrule him because he still have time. He's a young person; he can still make it in the political life. And there's also this person who has come to politics to do business. So you must distinguish these people. So before you claim that maybe someone has gone to the politics to serve the interests of the people, but this person has failed to serve the interests of the people, now maybe he has lost the people. Some people don't care whether the people have gone or not, provided they have made money.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Miguda. Brother Njiru, welcome. Karibu sana. I hope I'm clear. And first, to our viewers, I've been away for a whole week. I am now back, and I hope that I'll be joining the shows. Na kwa vile ndo nimeingia na sijui tumeongelelea nini, naomba Miguda ukue moderator for the time being, and then Njiru will take over. Sijajua nimeongelelea nini, nimefika tu saizi. Kindly Miguda ama Njiru.
Okay, wacha tu nichukulie. You know the beauty of these shows, you don't need to be guided a lot. There is so much to speak. There are so many things to talk about, so don't worry about of that. So hapa hata ukitoka kwa usingizi kama mimi utakosa kitu ya kusema. So wacha kwanza nisalimie.
Ni vile nimekuwa away for a whole week ndio naonekana mara ya.
Don't worry, the clarion call is simple. Is Ruto must go. Our nation is not safe because of the things which are happening, and we have to keep on building that resilience. So let me begin by greeting Migunda na wewe Obura, na nijisalimie na nisalimie Gaiskona, who is asking me where I was yesterday. Yesterday it was unfortunate I couldn't be able to hold a dialogue jana. Wacha niketi chini ili sasa niwaongeleshe vizuri like somebody who is so I couldn't hold a discussion yesterday. So let me begin by Morara. Unajua tuliambiwa all the time ukiingia pahali kwa mkutano always start with the latest point which was discussed. So you begin with the latest because that latest one is the one which is connecting with people, and then you move behind. So maneno ya IBC nitarudi na huko nyuma. So wacha nianzie na Morara. The stakes for 2027 or any other election which will ever happen in Kenya are very high. And Wamunyoro himself knows that the stakes for 2027 are very high. That is why even Wamunyoro is not even attempting to even tell people he want to become the president, because he knows what it means. Hata Wamunyoro yeye mwenyewe, it is not an issue of you are from Mlima, you are Kikuyu, or you are who. That's why even people like Raila Odinga will not even attempt to say that they want to become a president and they will get that national appeal. That is why even Mr. William Ruto will not even attempt to tell people you want to become that all-inclusive president, because their time is done, is gone. So these people understand the stakes which we have. And that is why jokers are being eliminated along the way. And it is so unfortunate that I'm seeing Morara. Let me tell you, we always say that somebody like Raila Odinga, you can excuse mistakes from him. He is in his sunset years. Maybe in 20 years, he will not be controlling our politics. Na maybe pengine anaweza kuwa pahali ingine, which we don't know. So what I want to say is that a young man should not destroy his life. That's why I always say that when you are a young man, be of good character because you have a long life ahead of you. Morara is making so many missteps, and if Morara was able to package himself well, actually Morara could have been in the poor position of being the next president of Kenya, whichever the time, because time is on his side. He is among the few Kenyans who had the audacity to tell us that they want to be president. At 29 years, 30 years, it is impressive. So it means Morara has 30 years. 30 years. Like Morara has a whole life ahead of him to package himself and become the president. But if he starts watermelon sai, there's something we call watermelon. You know, even people like Kalonzo Musyoka, they could have become presidents a long time ago. Let me talk about some of the good information I've had about the conclave which has just ended, and some of the things which attracted the cardinals who elected this Pope who was elected now. In fact, they are saying it is not being an American which made them elect him. Actually, they were saying if his only attribute was being an American, they could have elected him. But they said the guy has been working or has been involved in assignments which actually have positioned him as a unification factor. And part of that experience, he has actually gained it in Peru. So meaning that this guy being in Peru is 10 years, which he spent in Peru in his young life, is actually what has packaged him to become the Pope today. What do I mean? What Morara is doing now will be the barometer which will be used to gauge him any day which you want to become the president. Yes, Gibbs Corner is saying the guy spent time in Peru and Rome. So actually, that is the qualification. This other issue of he is an American is a joyride. Sababu tu mtu ulizaliwa pahali. But that Pope has no impact in America. I'm so surprised that even some cardinals in America, they were actually not knowing him. And then he's a guy who has been involved in a lot of ministerial work. Even last year, he was in Kenya, 2024, December. He spent a whole month in Kenya. He opened some churches in Kenya, the Augustinians. Yeah, there's a lot he did. So he's a guy who has been visible in outside world. He's not that guy who has been domiciled in America alone. And that is something which can tell you something that some of the things you do in life, they pay later on. Kuna kitu unafanya sahi, Bwana Obura, there is something you are doing now. It might not be beneficial now, but it could be the platform to propel you at time T somewhere. So that is why we always say, don't despise the humble beginnings. Don't despise the small things which you do in life. So, Bwana Morara, you need to understand that Kenyans will engage you and gauge you from what you are doing now, not what you'll do in the future, because already you are in the microscopic eye of view. Uko pahali unaweza onekana. And this idea whereby, kama jana, nafuatanga jamaa anaitangwa Alfred the sergeant. I don't know, he's a very big Facebook guy. So I was in the page of Alfred, and I saw like it is like Alfred he posted an image na akaweka green circles that huyu ni Morara ako kwa msafara ya Ruto. So those are some of the things which Morara has to start now engaging properly now. Morara, you cannot be meeting Ruto. You are meeting Gachagua. You are meeting maybe Matiang'i. In fact, it's only that Morara is not serious. In fact, if what Morara needed to do now is to remain unaffiliated. Just remain unaffiliated. Don't cooperate with any one of them. Out of all those guys, they all represent the status quo. Ni vile kuna status quo ni chungu kuliko ingine, but all of them represent the status quo. So Morara is just destroying his life. I wish he can observe. He has a whole future ahead of him, and he cannot do that. So when you have a future, when you're in your 30s, when you're in your 20s, we always say that you have to be very serious in what you do. And these things happen actually even to those people who get elected to politics when they are very young. You get elected to politics when you are very young, then you destroy a reputation there. even in the future, no one wants to give you any position. There are some people who, after they retire from politics, their national politics, they are actually given positions to manage international agencies, international bodies. For instance, the end of UN today used to be the Prime Minister of Portugal at one time. So these things happen. So everything you do in life is a pillar to something else. And you cannot be doing something as if you are doing it the last. So Gibbs Corner anasema kitu. He was born in California ama Illinois. They have been saying Illinois, Chicago, the Chicago boy. But never spent time there. He was brought up and shadowed by the late Pope Francis. Actually, and this guy became a bishop at very late time. See, he became a bishop in 60s. That is very late. People become bishops in 40s, my age. Yeah, so if I was a Catholic, I should be becoming a bishop now. Because but you can see his progression actually from becoming a bishop, then becoming a cardinal in 2023, and becoming a pope. So like Tagre, who we always thought that he would become a pope, Tagre, the guy of Philippines. He is much younger than him. He became a cardinal very early. He became a cardinal in the 50s. He was actually made a cardinal by Benedict. But he was much younger, so we thought that he was a guy. But at Gibbs Corner, wacha mambo mingi. I've said in the 40s. I've not said that I'm 40. I've said in the 40s. So I did not give him a random number there. So sio vibaya kusema age, kwani vibaya kusema age. So sasa ndio naanzia kuishi Gibbs Corner, if you want me to say that. So that's this is the time when I'm starting to live. Najua hiyo sababu ya kujua age yangu unirushia soda sasa. Uwezi jua miaka yangu ndio hivi. In fact, I'm celebrating my birthday this month. I usually I celebrate my birthday the end date of May. So the last day of May is usually my birthday. So weka hiyo. So sijui kama utataka tutengeneze birthday madonga hapa. So anyway, Obuna, what I was trying to say is that Murara is just destroying his future. Murara is destroying his future. And I don't think moving forward, I will be able to resonate with the people like Murara. I think my stakes for a leader are bigger than that. I don't want leaders who are not collected. Gibbs Corner ndiye huyo. So yes, I've quite been a lot here. So Gibbs Corner, I was born the day when Cardinal John
But
Joel.
not like me.
Sorry?
Not like me. Then I think I'm older than even you.
Well, watch mambo mingi. So I came to
I've got white hair. I've got white hair.
Wale watu wako na white hair ni mimi. Ona white hair yangu ndio hii.
Sasa mimi nikikuonyesha yangu.
Usianzie kuitisha maneno ya white hair. So just to put Gibbs Corner into his perspective. I was born the day when the cardinal became the bishop of Embu. Go ahead and do your research now. I've now given you all the matrix if you want to know when I was born. So I've given you all the matrix. Yeah. So that day when Bishop John Joe is becoming the bishop of Embu, when the diocese of Embu is being created, there is a woman somewhere who is receiving some labor pains, and a bouncing baby boy is born, and that baby boy is him. I did not paint it here. You know, Gibbs Corner, intellectuals speak in Pharisees. So you can get that Pharisee now. So I don't need to tell you the year, but I can connect you with that. So basically that's what you can see. She is saying, sio vibaya kuzaliwa. Kwani ni vibaya nikiza. If I was not born, I would not be here. Destroying Ruto, and we will destroy your Ruto. So that's how it is. We now need serious people who can actually be able to take our nation to the next perspective and to the next trajectory of reasoning. We cannot continue ululating and talking of people who are not monumentary in our same thinking. Today I was just watching Lynn Goge. Today he had a wonderful guy. They just did a very serious post today of how the West has been destroying Africa. Even though I'm a man who do not blame others when I'm in mistakes. So I'm not of the school of thought. Maybe Gypsy Corner sijui kama utanipiga. I'm not of the school of the thought that Europe and America are destroying Africa or they are destroying Kenya. I believe we are the people who are destroying our own nations, because these people, they are not cajoling us, or they are not using the gun to put us into the processes which they are doing to us. Even America, when they realized that things are not working for them, they started their campaign and they started even talking of America first. So I don't believe in blaming others when I make mistakes. Me personally, when I have issues, I blame myself. I stopped blaming people many time ago. If I fail, it is Njiro who has failed. It's not so and so refused to give me the. I always attribute my failure to myself. I have never blamed anyone for my failure. Yes, but success, you credit it to others. That is the problematic of others. If you succeed in this life, there are so many ingredients which have come together to aid that. But failure is purely on you. So that is the shy part of it. So I really appreciate what has been happening in our nation. And there is the silent revolution, just as the many speakers have been saying. I heard of Barack Muruka, who was very spot on. He said that Ruto is sitting on a revolution without knowing. Neither hatujui sasa hii revolution itazaliwa lini. It could be round, it could be silent. It could be actualized in the ballot, it could be actualized in the streets. So, Bwana Obura, we don't know how the Kenyan revolution is going to end. Hatujui, so we don't know how we are going to get our white smoke. But the truth of the matter is that there is a revolution which will end somewhere. It could end in an election which will give us a good president. It could end in the streets where somebody will be ejected out of power. So we are at that close path. We are at that place whereby people are not okay. We are at that place where now people feel they need a government which serves them. So Morales is destroying his future. He can do better than that. So awache double deal. In this life is very unfair to people who are not decisive. Let me tell you, Bwana Obura, the few years I've lived in this life, now that you have known them, hata mtu ameishi miaka mia moja, it is also a very small time. The few years I've lived in this life, I have known one thing, is that life is very royal to strict and determined people. Very royal. You will never fail in this life if you know what you want. You will never fail in this life. So it's that simple. So things will be coming towards your direction. So let me use that word. So the truth of the matter is now the IBC has been formed by Mr. Ruto. You didn't expect any better IBC. Hiyo ni IBC yake. The only thing we can do to navigate that IBC which Mr. Ruto has brought to us is to swarm the election, to make sure that our voting is extreme. That is the only way in which we will be able to enjoy the next dispensation of power. Ruto hata alete nani, and we vote properly, and we will be having a lot of people who will actually be talking with us. It will be very good. So for now, I'm not optimistic of that IBC. That IBC will not deliver a good exam. So they will a good IBC. I mean, they will not deliver a good election to us. So let me read what Gypsy Corner is saying. Jiro Maura, Africans allowed to be used through their leaders after the colonization. No one forcibly enters an independent territory. I agree. So that is why Gypsy Corner, I never blame other countries for our missteps. And I will never blame the US for the missteps of Kenya. No one is forcing a relationship between Kenya and the US. No one is forcing a relationship between Kenya and the UK. They don't use guns to come and say, wanakuja hapo kwa streets wanasema nyinyi wa Kenya, it is either mukubali to we indirectly control you or you all die. We willingly go there through the sweeteners which they give us, because we are very good in wanting the sweeteners which they give us. But the truth of the matter is that Africa has no one to blame when it comes to its underdevelopment. Africa has only but itself to blame. I know many people will tell me that I don't know what I'm saying, but I believe there are countries which have decolonized themselves, and they were under occupation longer than us. India was under occupation longer than us for 500 years. Today, India can launch. They have nuclear weapons. I'm not saying that it is one of the best countries, but they are also doing the big things which the big countries are doing. That is what makes the difference. India can take a spacecraft to the orbit. India can launch a missile. Kenya can do neither of that. I didn't say that a space or missile is an indicator of development, but it's an indicator that you can be able to absorb technology and be able to direct yourself into future endeavors. For us, we are unable to do anything. We are unable to do medicine. We are unable to do proper farming. We have always to rely on relief food where we have Arab fund. We are unable to do anything, but we have no one to blame. It's all about Kenyans and Kenyan leaders. Us as Kenyans, we have tolerated leaders who are not doing anything for so long. Imagine a country like Uganda is so comfortable with Museveni, who is not doing much, who is retrogressing that country for 40 years. Kenya is we are also on the same line. We are very comfortable with Ruto, who is destroying everything. He is there. We are saying, even as we are saying Ruto must go, wengine wanatuuliza tutamutoaje. Yet the guy is doing everything wrong. Superior countries and countries which know what they are doing, once they say that you have to go, you literally go. It is only in Africa whereby a corrupt, useless, somebody who doesn't understand what he's doing will rule you until he dies. It's only in Africa. It's only in Africa. Somebody like Paul Biya, the president of Cameroon, will be the president of Cameroon since 1982, rule you by the arm fist. He is not doing anything, and still people are loyal to him, and the people still fear him. It's only in Africa where we are saying that shenanigans. Let me see what Jiscona is saying. More IBC is full of nepotism, of course. Forget everything. Ruto has the second term in the pipeline. I don't believe in that, Jiscona. I believe miracles can happen. Miracles can happen. I believe something will happen. Something will happen. Ruto will only get a second term in Kenya if he changes his function, his presidency. I don't think his presidency is serving Kenya, unless kama sasa Wakenya wanajichukia sana. I believe somehow that presidency will end. How it will end, I don't know. If it ends through the ballot, hallelujah. If it doesn't end through the ballot, through other unconstitutional means, hallelujah to the Lord. But the truth of the matter is, Ruto presidency doesn't seem to have the future. You know, presidency, there is something which we always say. Anything which has a future, you can propagate and you can see. In my all indications and in all my looks, I look at Ruto presidency, I don't see any future to it. How are you going to tell me that Kenyans are going to be so comfortable with Ruto? There are no jobs, there's no industrialization, there's no proper farming, there's no employment, there's no money, there's no business. How are Kenyans going? Public sector is dying, there's no integrity, a lot of corruption, nepotism, as we are saying in Jeep's Corner. How are Kenyans going to accommodate all those things unless if we are crazy? So the truth of the matter is that Ruto presidency will have to end. The only thing we don't know is the nature and the style in which it is going to end. But the truth of the matter is there is all the reasons which will make this presidency end. Lastly, so that maybe I can welcome a question from you, or maybe a question from na sijui kwa nini siku hizi amuniulizangi maswali. So Jeep's Corner. So that's what I believe. So I believe in a presidency which will end suddenly. So the issue of IBC, I'm not concentrating with it. I'm concentrating with the mobilization. Let's mobilize. If we mobilize and we have votes, it doesn't matter who is there at the IBC. But if you look at that list, there is efforts of Ruto putting his puppets. I'm hearing that guy is a nephew or maybe an uncle, whoever, to Nanok. He is a Turkana. Naruto did it deliberately ili tutulie tuone ni kama like he is becoming serious. Lastly, I want to comment about Mutaingonyi comment, and I want to deconstruct it. I think Chief Skona have now become an authority. I can now even deconstruct Mutaingonyi. Mutaingonyi, there is something he has said. Remember, Mutaingonyi is known of the famous tyranny of numbers. Now he has now brought another thing he is calling the tyranny of minorities. Mutaingonyi is trying to say that Mr. Ruto could end up in power again through assembly of the power of minority, where the campaign policy will be about shunning the larger tribes to form the government. I don't think that is the clarion call. I don't know why Mutaingonyi is still concentrating on mobilization, on ethnicity. I don't know why Mutaingonyi is not putting a Gen Z factor there. And Gen Zs are from all walks of life, from all tribes, from all creed. So I don't know where he is putting those people in those. Or does Mutaingonyi want to tell me that a Gen Z in Kalenjin will be voting for Ruto, and Gen Z in Mount Kenya will be voting for where Wamunyoro will indicate? So those are the things we need to know. And I think Mutaingonyi is wrong. He is unable to picture out that bigger constituency of young people who now feel that Kenya is pregnant for reformed changes which make meaning. So let's see how it percolates. I hope Kenyans will not buy that propaganda. Maybe Mutaingonyi has been highly paid. That's the reason why he is doing that. So Joseph Biden is saying something great in comrades, Mesalimika. Joseph Biden anasema, it is the African leaders who are sell out to its people. I agree. Correct. Obura, unless kama uko na swali kwangu, the maximum time I can stay here will be around 20 minutes. Because pia nataka niende nikafungue kwangu with a view of what people to come and percolate in the dialogue. But I usually enjoy being here, and I will also encourage people in this channel, if you believe I make sense or our channel is doing the right thing, especially at this time in Kenya, you can subscribe my channel. My channel is at Njiro Mwaura Talk Room. So I think I will copy the link here. And I would be so glad if people will agree to subscribe. You can thank us, you can join. There is so much participation you can do in these channels. Just like the way I can see Gibbs Corner has done. And Gibbs Corner, we appreciate your commitment and we bless you. The hand that, so I don't think that one is in the Bible, but the hand that gives is the hand that receives. So may your hands never may your hands never dry up, so that you can be able to become a portion. People like Gibbs Corner are the ones who are making these channels to remain afloat, if people are not aware. So such a commitment is a honor. So it actually makes even the person who is doing this podcast here or this broadcast here to feel okay, to feel like I feel appreciated. So that's why Gibbs Corner, we do not refuse to appreciate such moments when a human being has decided to give his blood. That's what we always say. Maybe Gibbs Corner and Obuda, there is something you don't know. When somebody decides to give you money, they have decided to give you the equivalent of their blood, their sweat. Remember, for you to get money, you need to sweat, you need to do something. So Gypsy Corner, we appreciate that sweat of yours, and for making your sweat to recognize our sweat. So it is sweat recognizing another sweat. Sababu pia, I think Gypsy Corner is appreciating the amount of sweat which people are doing here, and they decide, because now that Gypsy Corner, you are there, and then they decide that we will do this. So away from that, let me put my final injection when it comes to how our next formation is going to be and how things are percolating. So Gypsy Corner is saying something. Thanks, Jiro Maura. I like to appreciate your time and the free lectures and education. Yeah, some of these things you are just impacted from the Lord. So we are just an instrument of engagement. So we cannot say that we have just been put as a steward. We have just been, God has given us this opportunity as per this particular time to become the same eye of the society. So that it is just like the way in the biblical time, when before calamity happened, God used to raise some people who used to raise the lamb. That is why people like Elijah could go into the desert and start sounding alarm there will be a famine of 3.5 years. Take heed to the Christ. There will be a famine. So they go there. So God will always have is specific people who will be communicating in all aspects of life. So I might not be a pastor, I might not be a prophet, as many would be there, but in my own scholarly art, in my own way of reasoning, but especially common sense reasoning, I believe we can be able to bring that reasoning here, and we distillate it, and we reason with it. So, Gyp's Corner, that's why I'm usually very happy to join whichever podcast is there, and allow those people to funnel that information. I'm not that person who will be intimidated by the literature work which is happening there. So that is why I'm usually very happy to join any podcast. Yeah, as long as I'm not being curtailed to, and as long as the freedom of my freedom to say what I'm supposed to say is respected. So that is why all the time tunakuja hapa kwa Brother Benson. So Miguda and Kevin Obura, bless you guys too. Well learned. Yes, it's very difficult to have consistency in such channels if there's no information which is percolating. So hata nyinyi akina Obura, I want to appreciate your channel. Your channel cannot be able to reach where it is kama kazi yenu ni kuja kufanya ujinga hapa. It's an indication that you people, you are making it, your reasoning is having an audience, and that is why people can be able to. Let me tell you, time is very expensive. Don't think that people will waste their time to come and listen to things which don't make sense. It takes a lot of collective measures for people actually to remember there are a million channels. There are a million channels. People can be different places. So when somebody has truncated and made that decision that today I'm going to be in Jiro Mora Talk Room, I'm going to be with the brother Benson, is not a joke. It's something. I'm here.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brother Njiru. Today I'm not having a stable internet, and that's why I'll not really go for long. But I appreciate the fact that you found time to also join us. And to Gypsy Corner, we are very much grateful. And me, I'm a believer. I believe in God. I do pray for each and everyone who comes to these channels. I do pray for everyone who supports us, and I believe that God will bless you so much. Everyone will always find time to join us. I know you guys have so many things that you could be doing at this particular time, but you've just decided to join us and to support us. We really appreciate. Yeah, so Brother Njiru, I'm very grateful. Hata mimi hapa ni vile net yangu haiko stable leo. I'm sorting it. Possibly by tomorrow I'll be having a stable internet, so that's why I'm not siongei sana kwa leo. Sasa leo acha tu nikuachie wewe ndo ukue.
No, there's no problem. You can give me like around 10 minutes. Oh, we have 15 minutes. Naonanga sana sana mukifunga in the second hour. So you can allow me those 15 minutes. I can help you in that. So
yeah, so maybe,
but I hope you have internet ya kufunga itakosa.
Yeah, iko ni vile tu inani. I'm not having a stable internet. I'm checking into it. I hope that
don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's why we need a very serious president who is able to do serious, because in a serious country we are not supposed to be talking about unstable internet. It is not your fault. It's not your fault. It's the fault of where you are. And that's why we always say that sometimes there are some problems which we have simply because of where we are. They are not in our own creation. In the era where we are now, in the age of digital world, our government need to understand that they have to invest properly on this technology, because this technology is the one which is built. You can imagine if majority of our internet in Kenya is not functional for just a video, how do we expect people to do research? How do we expect people to do data mining and look for serious things which can actually be transformative? That is the problem. So exactly, you see what Obura you have said. That problem which you have just explained is a problem which a good government is able to solve. The other day, I heard Mr. William Ruto. I'm saying that because time is usual. The other day, I heard Mr. William Ruto saying that the internet will be everywhere. I remember there was a time when he was saying, utakuanga unapiga simu na ikatiki. That is the famous statement. You know, I'm very good in remembering.
Actually, he said that while he was serving as the deputy president.
Yeah, alikuwa anasema utakuanga unapiga simu hivi na ikatiki. So
yeah.
So what happened? Like, is that internet there, by the way? Your story. Na alisema kwanza itakuwa hapo kwa masoko. Uko hapa kwa soko.
You can imagine. You can imagine that I'm actually in Nairobi. And
one of the best. So can you imagine now somebody in Turkana? Or
yeah. I do have some friends who come from Trans-Nzoia in a place called what is that? Just within Trans-Nzoia. I'm telling you, there is no network in that place, and you know, those are the counties that we can say, you know, they are known things that we get from those areas. When it comes to things to do with agriculture, those are some of the counties that feed the republic. So we hoped that the government would fully invest and ensure that the people in those areas also receive better things like infrastructure, things to do with road, internet, and you know, but it's lacking. So it's so unfortunate, and especially during this era. You know, we are in an era where internet is everything. There are people who fully depend on that internet when it comes to work, and maybe that is part of the reason why Kenyans do struggle to get these international works where they can be working from home because of poor internet. And I ever tried applying for an international, a job. And I remember the time I was called, I had a problem with my internet, and then they asked me, so if this is an interview and you have a problem with the internet, how will you be working? You know, it's such an embarrassing thing that we are still experiencing in the Republic of Kenya. Like if we get the right leaders who really understand how serious and how important such infrastructures are needed in the country, then we'll be at peace. President William Ruto he hasn't done really much. He hasn't done much. That is what I can say.
Why are you saying that he hasn't done really much? Has he done anything? What has he done? We are not even supposed to use the word much. He has not done anything.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate, and he's one of the leaders who has been crisscrossing Africa, telling other African countries, you know, on how things to do with the leadership should be handled. And I can say that's a challenge on the side of leadership that we have, and we hope that in the near future we'll be having leaders who are really active when it comes to providing essential things like infrastructure. Allow me to just say thank you to Patrick Chepkwony.
I want to percolate on that, and I can see Patrick Chepkwony. And by the way, if you click Njiro there, you can go and subscribe to my channel too. Actually, immediately after this one, I'm going to open my show. My show is in waiting. So Patrick Chepkwony, you don't need to tukimaliza hii tunaenda kwa yangu. So there is a lot of conversation which goes along. So I wanted to percolate a little bit on that issue of Ruto development agenda, because I'm a very factual person. I'm a person who is able to appreciate something which has been done. I'm not somebody who talks on the data. And I'm saying this one with a lot of humility, without mud smearing. Like I want to say like Ruto is a bad president. I'm not saying this to say that Ruto is a bad president. I'm saying this because it's the reality. Number one, this is how you measure the performance of a president. Every presidency has pillars. Pillars is what you mention after the end of that presidency, is what you mention. Like, for example, and I want to give examples. I just want to give examples. I'm not saying they were good people, but I just want to say once the presidency is done, because everything is historic. Everything we are doing ends up in the books of history. The story, that's where we store. So presidential historians, I hope in Kenya we have presidential historians who store that information. So at the end of the day, what matters is the history which will be stored for the next generation. Let me tell you the history which I know, even if some of those people ruled while I was not born. Kenyatta. Kenyatta is known of opening up the country and beginning a little bit large infrastructural projects of his time. A time when technology was not very advanced. That time when Kenyatta is becoming the president, it was a time of mechanization, mechanical engineering. So it was not a time, right now we are at a time of computer age. We are in computer age. During Kenyatta, it was mechanical age, big machines, industries. So that was the time when all those things were coming up. So that's why you are now seeing like Kenyatta is doing KICC. It is one of his big projects he did in Kenya. He is doing KICC. He did around 3,000 kilometers of tarmac in Kenya. At his age, at his era, is commendable. I'm not saying he did the best. When it comes to the social fabric, people critic him a lot, especially because of the number of critics who died. So then from there, we have Moi. What happened to Moi? I'm trying to bring you, because this is history. Because at the end of the day, everybody is a subject of history. At a CC, once we spend our 70 years here in life, what will remain of us is history. That's the only thing which will remain of us, Bwana Obura. We are just preparing our history. Our children and the children of our children will be reading about us, and they will be hearing their fathers, this is what they did. Their fathers had an opportunity to remove Ruto out of power. They were unable. The Gen Z movement will be history in Kenya. There was a time when there was a Gen Z movement in Kenya, and this is what it achieved. Wewe jiskona wacha mambo mingi. Wachana na mimi, wachana. I told you don't write here. Yani imebidi mpaka uende ukafanya hiyo research. Mimi that is not my day.
Is the historian ama hizo time alikuwa ama namna gani?
You see, here James Conner this one is coded talking. Don't worry, this is coded talking. You huwezi elewa. James Conner, don't let the cat, please. Don't let the cat out. Wacha ikae hivyo. Hii ni yako peke yako, tafadhali nakuomba. Don't let the cat out, please. Ina shida. Hakuna mtu ameelewa. Don't let the cat out.
Okay.
It is the year when Museveni became the president. So good. Now
So Museveni has been president for this long, and we also have in that country.
Museveni has been the president for 40 years.
I wish I was a Ugandan.
No, Waganda wameshindwa bana. Wamekubali. And 40 years is middle age. A human being who is 40 years is middle age. You are remaining with the other portion, with the other half. You die. Unajua saa zingine people don't want to talk about death, but that's the reality. Once you are 40, umebakisha another half. Upenye. You are mid-life. That's why it's called mid-life. Once you are 40, sasa you have already spent a half of your life. Sasa you are now waiting for the other half. Because by proportionality, very few human beings will live to 100. So majority of people die between 50 and 70. That is the big bracket of where human beings die. 50 and 70, that is we call it the sigmoid curve. The normal curve of death. Human beings die between 50 and 70. That is where majority of people die. Not even there, and between 0 and 5. 50, 70, and 0 and 5. Especially in Africa, it used to be bad when we used to have malaria and these other diseases which used to come and kill children like so bad. So, Jiskona, that's the reality. So, ukiona sasa, and you need to know that majority of people who met Museveni as president, many of them have died. You need to know that in Uganda, yes, let me tell you, majority of Ugandans, I want to shock you, Obura. Unajua saa zingine watu wananiambianga I like to exaggerate issues. Majority of Ugandans who are enjoying Museveni presidency, they were not there when he became the president. I don't think sijui kama hiyo Obura umepata. Have you gotten that?
Yes, I have. Nimesikia hiyo vizuri sana.
Majority of Ugandans who are alive, they were not there when Museveni became the president. Actually, there is a possibility 80% of Ugandans were not alive when Museveni became a president. That's how sad it is.
That's so unfortunate. Yeah, very sad. It's very sad that in Africa, and then we it's a fallacy that's, sometimes we tell tunaambiwa, oh, you are sijui the future leader, sijui nini, and he's been a president for 40 years, and there's nothing nothing positive. There's nothing when it comes to in leadership that influences the life of the citizens of Uganda. There's nothing good that we can say that in the entire country, the people of Uganda are actually, doing well. If you go to Uganda, I'm telling you, it's one of the countries in Africa where you can, especially if you get out of the city side, the rural sides, there is high level of poverty in Uganda. And, sometimes there's this say which goes that sometimes when you're a dancer, there are times when it gets that you need to get out of the floor. I think it is right time that Museveni should get out and let others continue the dance, because it is not just him. Yeye peke yake hakuzaliwa kukuwa a leader. He's played his part. He's made history. And he should now let others also come with new ideas, because his ideas has not, of course, he has done well. Partly, there are some things positive things that he's done, but it is good that he also give a chance to people with new ideas so that they can also try to implement those, things which can assist the people. It is, with the age that he has, it's very hard for him to accept the new changes and, to just try implement or to try fight for the new changes, things which are coming with the, generation. So I believe as much as he's a president and he has advisors, I know most of the advisors are also 70 and above. So there's nothing new that those people those leaders can do to the people of Uganda. They should just allow new blood, fresh blood to come to. They should give a chance so that the people of Uganda can also feel what new leadership is all about.
Yeah, sure. Obura, I really appreciate that. So watch out as easy to, we should also not become a victim of the same. There are things which happen. There is something which we used to say in my language, and 1 hour became 2 hours. 2 hours became 1 day. 1 day became 2 weeks. 2 weeks became 2 months. 2 months became 2 years. 2 years became 20 years. 20 years became 100 years. and forever and forever. So even as Kenyans, we should not be complacent, and we should not be worried without knowing that, without actually appreciating that there is no absolute reason which cannot stop Ruto from becoming a perennial president if you want. They keep on testing power. Naturally, power is very sweet. Even in countries where people have democracy, they are not happy to leave power. Don't think Obama was happy to leave power. They are not happy. It's only that things have been put so strictly that you have to exit power. Don't think that Joe Biden was so happy to leave power. No one, when getting out of power is usually one of the saddest moment of a person. It's the saddest moment of a person. If there is something which can be done by those people so that they can continue having that hegemony, they can actually do it. So that is what we need to know. So, my dear brother, it's not a joke. We have to make sure that Ruto does not embed himself in Kenyan political power. And the first signs of embedment are already there. We can see realignment of specific royalists in specific positions, military, police, everywhere, in places of decision. He is making sure that he is putting his cronies. Unless we have a very popular revolution, which is against him, once he consolidates, that's what we call government consolidation. Government consolidation is where you put royalists everywhere. And in Africa Pahali, no one can be able to question what you are doing. Even if you decide to sink the nation as a one person, no one will question. And Kenyans should not allow the Kenyan government to be subjugated by Mr. William Ruto. We are actually at that level whereby Mr. William Ruto can easily subjugate our government. And if we allow our government to be subjugated by Mr. William Ruto, we will not have future for our children. Remember, even Obama said it in 2015, July 15, while he was giving an address in the UN headquarters, Nairobi. He said that this world has been donated to us for our descendants by our ancestors. There is nothing we are doing here for ourselves. Our life is so small that whatever I'm doing is for the passage. That is what people need to understand, Bwana. I don't understand the reason why people are living in this world like we are going to live for 2,000 years. Jesus Christ was here for 33 years and he is gone. His legacy lives alone. He lives alone. Many people here have come here, they have spent, every human being will spend between 0 and 100 years in this life. So that is the opportunity which we have been given. The bigger opportunity is in eternity. That is the big opportunity. I don't know what happens in the eternity, hoping that in the eternity there is also some other influence which we can do within ourselves. Maybe that's the reason why some people believe that people in eternity can be saints and maybe they can be praying for us. But there is a lot we can do. So there is actually a lot we can do. So I appreciate this moment. God is good. Thank you, Nanimeenda.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Njiru, for finding time to be with us. And we really appreciate. We are brothers. So I'll also remind our viewers that we do similar things here. Brother Njiru is our brother and we do similar content. So if you're out there, you can also subscribe to his channel. We do have combined shows. And he's such a, just like you've heard from him, he's such a, they say a learned friend. He has a lot of knowledge when it comes to politics, when it comes to religion, when it comes to life. You know, Ipsekona is a witness, and I can tell you. So you can also find time and subscribe to his channel. And now to our viewers, I want to say that we really appreciate the fact that you took your time to be with us. And we hope that you'll join us again tomorrow. To Gypsy Corner, we are very much grateful for your financial support. And we really appreciate to pray that may God also bless you abundantly. To everyone who found time to be with us, I can see Yosef Baiduni. does, and Patrick, there's Shea, there's Taiwan, there's Douglas Kibogong, Brenda Obedi, and everyone. We really appreciate. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us this evening. We appreciate. Once again, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you are new to this channel, kindly like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll really, really appreciate. Thank you so much, Gypsy Corner. We hope to see you again tomorrow. I want to take this opportunity now to wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you are. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.